Servants of SAVA by Thunderhawk. Chapter 2 Expedition Scout XE701. 8 years later. His name was Arcadia, designation XE701, the most recent departure of Omnipol's Expedition Department. Clad in an all-black uniform and atop a dark and somber steed, Arcadia's most striking feature was his long, shimmering hair that popped with a bright, otherworldly pink. His was a solo mission. Like many other expedition scouts before him, Arcadia's goal was to gather information for the Omni-Mind Matrix, so that the great state of Omnipol might better achieve its goal of bringing forth the grand design. Most expeditions like this weren't meant to be made by a single person. Truthfully, Arcadia wasn't even meant to be an expedition scout at all. His exam scores, while commendable, were just shy of his other, more talented peers. But he was determined to be a scout. It was his dream, his purpose, his one and only goal. He was so determined, in fact, that on the night before his reassignment to a new labor department, he was visited by an arcane spirit that promised it could ensure he became a scout. This spirit was known, of course, as SAVA, and on that night it gave unto Arcadia the supernatural blade Warhead, so that he could stand head and shoulders above the other cadets. Now, after working in various entry-level positions, Arcadia was off on his own, exploring the chaos of the exterior world with only his horse Orion to keep him company. He didn't much mind the periods of isolation. He was always more of a reserved man. Occasional banter with passing strangers didn't hurt, though. He would have killed for a good conversation in his current predicament. Wading through a barren swamp, the air was thick and fecal. Romping through miles and miles of fat, sticky mud was not exactly Arcadia's definition of a good time. Anything to take his mind off these marshlands would have been welcome. But alas, he continued. Past weeping trees entrenched in moss, he rode onwards into the unknown. Eventually, come high noon, Arcadia spotted something massive in the distance. He pushed forward. What he saw then was a genuine spectacle, a ridge of mountain-like teeth projecting from the earth. He'd heard of this place in his training. The Geodontal Ridge, it was called. Apparently, this gigantic series of molars and canines went on for at least 20 miles. There are some things in life that you can hear about, learn about, even see pictures of, but cannot truly be understood until you see them with your very own eyes. For Arcadia, this was the ridge. He was filled with a sublime sense of awe at the sight of it. No amount of training could have prepared him for seeing something like this in person. He reined Orion forward so that he could get a closer look. Coming up to one of the enormous teeth, Arcadia examined the surface. The enamel was like a wall of crystalline film that stretched on into the sky. It was truly beautiful. Then, suddenly his ears were hit with a scream, a distant cry of pain that came from deeper within the ridge. Quickly, he remounted Orion and rode towards the sounds of distress. If someone was in danger, he needed to do what he could to help them. Wedged against an incisor, a woman in overalls, in her 40s perhaps, sat wincing in pain. Perched beside her was a large, mop-sized toothbrush. Arcadia came up to her. "I heard your scream, miss. Are you all right?" "I think I twisted my ankle," the lady replied. "I didn't realize there was anyone else out here." "I was just passing through." He got down from his horse. "Do you need any help?" "Well, I guess I can't work with a busted ankle. I could use a ride to town. There should be one not too far from here." "Meyerburg, yes? My notes indicate that there should be a place like that to the northwest of here." "Your notes? What do you mean? Who the hell are you, anyways?" "I am Expedition Scout XE701 of Omnipol's Expedition Department, but you may call me Arcadia. It is my mission to gather information for the Omni-Mind Matrix, so that we may further achieve a glorious future through the perfection of the grand design." "Oh, so you're one of them types with his head up his ass, huh?" "My head is squarely atop my neck like anyone else's," Arcadia said with confusion. Is that some sort of a local idiom around these parts? I've never heard that phrase before. God, you're a piece of work. It means you're a stuck-up jackass who doesn't know when to shut up. Oh, that was an insult. How rude. However, I will forgive you, since you are clearly still in pain from your injury. I, too, have been guilty of saying some mean things while in a foul mood. It is only human. Ugh, whatever. Just help me onto your horse, man. Of course. Arcadia hoisted her onto Orion's back and grabbed her large toothbrush. I'm Dolly, by the way, the lady said, in case you're wondering. Oh, yes, I was wondering that, actually. Arcadia hopped onto Orion, right behind her, and pushed onward through the ridge. If you don't mind me asking, why do you have this large brush with you? Arcadia was saying to Dolly along the way. It's to clean all these massive teeth with. She gestured around to the great protrusions of the geodontal ridge. Arcadia raised an eyebrow. Why are you trying to clean the teeth? Well, if not me, then who else is going to do it, huh? Arcadia was dumbfounded by her response. He didn't know how to answer. That's what I thought, Dolly said. But they're so big. How do you hope to actually clean them all the way around? You're telling me, man. It's like I'm the only one around these parts who gives a damn about dental health. Well, all right. I can always respect someone with genuine conviction. Yours is a noble quest, Dolly. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Well, thank you, Mr. Arcadia. Perhaps you aren't as much of a tight-ass as I thought. Is that another one of your exterior world expressions? I can assure you, my body holds no such sort of constipation. I can lay stool perfectly fine. Oh, jeez, no, just don't worry about it. Let's just get to town, all right? Of course. The two rode forward through the ridge, chatting along the way. The air was stuffy, yet somewhat cool. The ground below became increasingly thick with various reeds. It was now mid-afternoon. And I was saying to this one guy, no, these things are going to get cavities if we don't take care of them, right? Dolly was saying to Arcadia. Of course. Right, that's what happens when you don't take care of... Oh, wait. What was that? Dolly's demeanor changed. What? I think I just saw some kind of shadow pass overhead. A shadow? A cloud, perhaps? No, it was fast, Dolly replied. Wait, there it was again! This time, Arcadia saw it too. Whatever it was, this thing was as big as a truck, and it was moving from tooth to giant tooth right above them. Arcadia readied his blade. Wait, I think I have a gun in my backpack, Dolly whispered while frantically fishing around in her bag. Suddenly, the creature swooped down towards them. It was a giant vulture with an iron mask welded over its face. The beast bore down at them. Spastically, Dolly pulled out a scattergun and tried to fire at the bird, but her aim was weak and the shot flew past it. The iron-faced vulture crashed into them. Arcadia and Dolly were launched off the horse. The gun fell from Dolly's hands, landing right next to Arcadia. Orion let out a screaming neigh as the monstrous bird pushed its entire weight onto his body. Quick, use the gun! Dolly cried out, her ankle now bent back out of place. I can't. I cannot use guns, Arcadia said. What are you talking about? I made a pact. Arcadia stood forward, both hands around his magical blade warhead. This sword is the only weapon I can use for the rest of my life. It is my everything. The vulture looked up at Arcadia and let out a horrible shriek. Come at me! Arcadia shouted. The beast flew up and came smashing into him. Arcadia swung his sword, and with an eldritch show of force parried the entirety of its weight. Through his warhead pact, Arcadia was imbued with the strength of thunder and the toughness of steel. A monster like this was just a simple obstacle for a man like him. He threw the vulture back and charged forward. It swung its talons up to slash him, but they only bounced off his armor like flesh. Arcadia cleaved Warhead into the belly of the vulture, spewing a heap of blood onto the ground below. The monster howled a miserable screech before attempting to fly away. Arcadia, however, wouldn't let it escape. With titanic might, he grabbed the vulture's wing and dragged its body back. It screamed a hellish scream before finally Arcadia brought down his warhead through its neck, finishing off the creature in a single blow. Holy shit! Wincing through her damaged ankle, Dolly saw the spectacle before her. It's all right now, Arcadia said. The bird has been slain. How did you do that, man? Dolly asked. Years ago, I made a pact. For a lifetime of loyalty to this blade, I am granted supernatural power that I can use to fell beasts like this vulture here. Oh, God. You're one of those SAVA freaks, aren't you? Dolly's pain was now mixed with fear. So you've heard of them? The post-god SAVA? You think I was born yesterday? Of course I've heard of SAVA, you dolt. Most of you in the exterior world have, it seems. Interesting. Just don't hurt me, okay? I just want to get back to town. Why would I harm you? I've met one of you SAVA freaks before. He was a total maniac. I know there's something wrong with you people. I don't want anything to do with it. Well, I can assure you that I have no intentions of hurting you, ma'am, Arcadia replied with a tinge of worry. Who was this other person? What can you tell me about them? I don't want to talk about it, okay? Just give me to Meyerberg. I really need this ankle looked at. Oh, of course. Arcadia plopped Dolly back into Orion, who was a bit frazzled to say the least, and they continued on their way. Past the geodontal ridge and into further fields of marshland, the two made their way towards Meyerberg. It was about an hour from sunset when a strange figure came riding into town. The town of Meyerberg wasn't used to getting many visitors, much less one with such a striking appearance, and with Dolly, the local kook, no less. The town's overseer, Warner, a man of fat mutton chops and decent prestige, came up to welcome them. Howdy there, Warner said. Well, hello, Arcadia said. My companion is in need of medical attention. What troubled you get into this time, Dolly? Warner crossed his arms. It's just a twisted ankle, numbnuts. My work can be quite taxing at times, but that doesn't make it any less important. Warner looked up at Arcadia. Hey, guy, you realize what this lady means by work, right? Her contributions to the beauty of nature are quite magnificent, sir. Do you mean to put her down for doing something so clearly selfless? Oh, great, just when we needed another crazy one. Warner rolled his eyes. Ha, you can't even imagine, Warner. This guy's totally out of his mind. He's even a SAVA freak, too. SAVA? Warner suddenly grew deeply serious, drawing a revolver from his belt. Hey, he's cool, Warner. He helped me get here, didn't he? He even saved me from this big scary bird thing. Warner squinted at Arcadia, then slowly lowered his pistol. I'll take your word for it, Dolly, but I'm keeping an eye on him. You don't know with these people. With that, they brought Dolly to the infirmary to take care of her ankle. Once all was said and done, the sun was falling over the horizon, gleaming off the ponds of the swamplands. 1 glass of milk, please. Arcadia sat patiently at the local tavern. Compared to the other townsfolk, his black leather and shiny pink hair made him stand out like a walking shadow. Warner sat right beside him, watching his every move. Milk, huh? Kinda weird for a grown man to be drinking milk right before dinner, don't you think? Warner waxed his suspicions. I just saw that it was in stock. I wanted something with flavor, but I'm not much for alcohol. It might dilute my mind and interfere with my mission. Oh, your mission, huh? And what might that be? I'm helping to gather information so that Omnipole may better achieve its goal of advancing the Grand Design. The Grand Design, huh? What's that? Some kind of evil dark god shit? Yeah, you're part of some kind of doomsday cult, aren't you? Doomsday cult? No, quite the opposite. Arcadia was surprised. The Grand Design is a hypothetical system proposed by our founder, Gastine Lacroix. She theorized that there's a way to run a society so that it is running at perfect and maximum efficiency. That is our goal in Omnipole. We want to bring humanity into a brighter future as best we can. So no human sacrifices or anything like that? What? No, of course not. Huh. Warner leaned back. You know, I'm starting to suspect that Dolly might be right about you. Does me having a pact with SAVA really scare you that much? I assure you, I mean no harm to anyone. I would only ever hurt a fellow human being if it's for the purpose of self-defense. Huh. Weird. Warner paused. Are you sure it was SAVA? We've only heard bad things about that demon or whatever it is. Yes, it was definitely SAVA. What have you heard to make you so suspicious? We've all heard the rumors of monstrous men with magical powers, dark powers, granted to them by the demon known as SAVA. The best account I know is from Dolly. She used to be a part of this sort of wandering theater troupe, you know. They were quite strange, I believe, but none of them did anything to deserve what happened to them. What happened? Arcadia leaned in closer. Apparently, one day they came across this young boy who was stranded out all by himself in the wilderness. He had a big, sharp snaggletooth and one single eye that resembled this weird golden coin. He was friendly at first. They really liked the kid, wanted him to travel with them even. Then, suddenly, out of the blue, he just went crazy and started attacking them. The boy killed every last one of them. Dolly was the only one who managed to escape. And that boy had powers from SAVA? That's what Dolly said. He could see things that no one else could, whatever that means. Cody Roscoe, she said he was called. How macabre, Arcadia said. I have no intention of doing anything like that, sir. I am just a humble expedition scout. That may be true, but that's why we don't trust you people. You can't really know for certain. And I suspect that's why Dolly became so obsessed with cleaning those teeth, too. That troop was like a family to her. When you suddenly just lose everything like that, you get lost and just sort of cling on to whatever you can for meeting. It's tragic what happened to her. If I ever get my hands on that Cody Roscoe boy, I'll make sure that he feels just how much pain and suffering he's caused. It's unforgivable. Arcadia thought for a moment. His glass of milk finally arrived.